Okay, everybody, I am so excited today because I am joined by the one and only Hannah Cheramy, who stars as Julie in From. We are talking about the finale, so make sure you watch that first. There's going to be spoilers all about the finale. Hannah, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. I'm so happy to be joined by you. I'm a huge fan. And I'm really always liked the character of Julie, but it went another level now in the show with reveal of her being a story walker. So when did you find out you were going to be a story walker and how did you feel?
I found out the second that I got the scripts and I was reading them and I was like, oh shit, it was me who threw Boyd the rope. And that's how I found out.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, that must have just made you so much more excited where this can go. And that's what I'm curious about is we see Julie at the end with the black hair and the scars on her face. So how much do you know about that, Julie, or are you kind of completely kept in the dark?
I am so in the dark there. I tried to peel answers out of John Griffin, our writer, but I got nothing because it's in the future. So he's not going to tell me like what's going on. I get to know what's happening now. I have like my own theories about it. I'm thinking it's like Julie, I don't even know how old she'd be. Like maybe it's like a few years in the future and she's like coming back to try to like maybe everything has gone to shit in the town and she's like, this was the first thing that went wrong or like one of the biggest things. So I'll try again to like, I don't know. But it's definitely like a later Julie because it's obviously not. She's got the different hair and the scars.
Yeah, I mean, so that must like as an actress thrill you to get that like potential now for your character in future seasons.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome, but on the other side of it, the sad part is that she loses Jim. So was that an emotional day on set losing Jim?
It was like a heavy day, when you lose somebody who is so like prominent in the show, even if you're losing a small character, it's still like it's hard and it's hard for everyone because, we're not going to see them around anymore if their character has died. I mean, some characters come back as ghosts, so maybe if Jim is dead, we don't even know. What if this is all like a dream? What if this is all something else? I have no clue.
Yeah, maybe that'd be cool though to see Julie talking to Jim in that way. Like Jim's kind of talking to her like the priest is to Boyd. I'd love that. How do you think current day Julie is going to handle losing Jim?
I think it's going to be oh God, I think it's going to be devastating. I think it's going to be really, really hard for her. And I think it's going to be almost worse because I feel like now Tabitha is really going to have to be like, okay, I have to figure out what all this stuff means, like what these Ankui children mean. What is this remember thing? And maybe she's going to feel a disconnect from her mom because now her mom has this like huge connection to the town. And she's also reeling with the loss of her father. So it might just be another position of having to care for Ethan again because Ethan's probably also going to be a mess. Figure out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see you mention Ethan. I like the bond they built this season between Julie and Ethan, and they're going to be really challenged now, so that should be exciting. Do you have any personal favorite scenes from this season you did as Julie?
Oh, as Julie, I think one of my favorites is when Kenny catches her smoking outside the house. I think it's episode 5. I just think that's such a cute scene. That and also with Elgin in the basement looking through all the 80s clothes. Those were fun for different reasons. It's just fun to like have a little bit of lightheartedness because everything is so dark, which I love doing dark. Like that's why I love the show. But to have a little bit of a switch up and have some lightness is always fun.
Well, I was going to mention too, you mentioned Elgin and the actor of Elgin. You did this great TikTok video of you guys dancing to Shaggy. So is that just a little taste of like how much fun you guys all have on set together?
Oh my God, Nathan is like my best friend on set. It is so fun when we get to get our scenes together. Like it is a riot on set that day because he's just always making me laugh.
Yeah, so I feel like this is the type of show you need to do that, right? Because it's so dark and heavy all the time that like you can light it up. Um, I'm interested to know too, is there any scenes or just maybe little moments or lines left out of the season that you filmed that you remember liking?
That were like cut from the season.
Yeah, like you're like, oh yeah, that didn't make the cut.
Actually, there was a third picture in the scene that we took. They probably just cut it down for timing, just because it was probably running long. But in the Polaroids, it was like I took the picture, and then he took a picture, and then I took another picture or something. I forget how it all goes, but I remember 3 photos because that's why on the last one I said, "Oh, I'm keeping this one." Because he got one for himself. It was like they obviously just cut it for time and it made sense because they didn't need to have so many photographs being taken. But I remember being like watching it back and being like, I could have sworn there was three. But
Oh, was it a significant photo, you think, or is just maybe
it was a picture of him instead. It's like I got or he took a picture of me off guard. Like I took a picture of him off guard, and then he took one of
right?
me off guard. And then what made the show was I took a picture of him off guard, and then he took a picture of me like posing. It had no significance. It just like
Interesting. Yeah, yeah, that's wild. Yeah, and that was a great scene. I like that a lot. And
yeah.
um, do you watch every Sunday like the Fromily, or like can you watch yourself?
See, I've watched all the episodes. I got them a little bit ahead of time, so I've seen them all. I don't watch every Sunday, mostly just because I'm like really busy. So it's like hard to like dedicate time to sit down and watch it. But I do if my mom has it on the TV, like I'll go in and I'll sit and watch it with her.
So, do you get into the theory of it all? Like, do you dip into the Reddit or even look at the Twitter timeline from time to time?
Yeah, I look at the Twitter on Sunday while it's live because the cast is also live tweeting, so I like to see what everyone's saying. And it's just funny because everyone's like always making cool jokes and like those theories posted. And after the episode that just came out, episode 8, was just crazy online. Like the reaction was like mind blowing.
On your day to day, do you ever get asked like what is going to happen next and from? Does that ever have you ever that experience?
Every single day. Every single day. It's always what tell me what's happening next and when is season 4. I'm like,
Oh
oh
my
my God, we're not
God.
even on season 3 yet.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Did you imagine when you first even got on this show that it would become this like underground hit? Like the, you know?
I had no clue it was going to be as big as it was. The first season came out and I was like, okay, like it's got a little fan base. And then as each season keeps coming out, it's just more and more and more. And there's this huge family now. It's awesome.
Did you only audition for Julie?
Yeah, I only auditioned for Julie.
And you got it. That's amazing. So I'm wondering too, are you open to doing all genres? Do you love the horror genre? And do you have like a super goal you have soon? Like, do you want to do movies as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally open to do any genre. I love horror. It's just kind of like my niche that I like to fall into with my work. But yeah, horror is great because I just love being scared and I love playing fear and also it's fun to also be the scary person. So horror is great, but I'm open to all genres. I think every genre is great.
Cool. Yeah. And are you enjoying what comes with it? Like, did you have fun at that premiere for the show this season? Like, is that something exciting seeing that excitement around you?
Yeah, it's so awesome just to be around everybody celebrating like the work that you've put into the show, that everyone has put into the show, and just to see everybody so happy and come together and it's awesome. It's so much fun.
Now, you rocked this Halloween. You always have great Halloween costumes, but you did Padme, and I appreciate that because it's prequel love, which there needs to be more of. So, are you a Star Wars geek?
I am okay. I enjoy the Star Wars movie, but my partner has like made me into like a Star Wars person. I'd never watched anything before, so
No, I was wondering because I love that you did Padme. I love it was like prequel because everyone
yeah.
always does the new or the really old, but that was great. So I was going to ask you too, is there anything you felt from your performance from season one to now that you feel like you've learned, like you're proud of, like seeing in your acting?
Yeah, I mean, going back to season 1, I was 17 when I filmed the
Mm.
first, I think, 2 episodes. So looking at that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just a baby. Like I have no clue what's coming. I have no clue what the show is gonna do. And so I just love to see the growth in there. I love to sometimes I go back and rewatch old episodes from season 1 or season 2, and I see, especially if I look at me and Simon in a scene together, I'm like, holy crap, we were tiny. Like
Yeah.
so different in season 3. It's great to see the growth.
And I'm thinking about season one now too. And with Julie, do you see them re-exploring at some point that crush she kind of had on Fatima? Do you see that coming back?
I feel like probably not. I think that now it's kind of just she is her friend and she is someone in the town that she can maybe go to if she needs. But I think that that was kind of just showing Julie's out of touchness at Colony House. Like she was separated from her family and there was this first person who was actually nice to her and cared for her and looked at her first. And I think that that was just Julie trying to find belonging in the town, and it was the first person who did that for her. And now I think that's a big arc in Julie's story, is just constantly trying to find where she belongs in the town. And she's a teenage girl. Like that's a big arc in everyone's teenage girl life is trying to find belonging. But yeah, for Julie, especially in this town, it's she's bouncing from person to person, trying to see like where do I fit? Like I don't feel always welcome in my family, it feels like.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And on that point, people have like had their theories about Julie and her, let's say maybe love interest or maybe what she's attracted to. Like, did you read for Julie like any interest in Elgin or in Randall, or do you not see it that way?
I see, I can see maybe like it's weird because I want to say just because Julie is so young that I'm like, yeah, it's just like big sister, little sister, especially with Randall. Like Elgin is probably closer to Julie's age, but especially with Randall, like big brother, little sister. But I can also totally see like Julie having like a little crush, he's like the bad boy, and then Elgin being like so sweet. It's just like maybe like a little crush, but I also just see like friendship in both those people.
No, I really like that answer. I appreciate that, and I think this season has really enhanced Julie's character in so many ways. And what really I loved about Julie's character this season was the scene you killed, where she has this little monologue to Jim, and she's sticking up for herself and Ethan, and like how he's not always been there. And I was waiting for that to happen. So, is a scene like that something the night before you really get like butterflies about, or do you still feel this like confidence that you got this kind of thing?
I think any scene where I tend to have a lot of lines, I get maybe like a little bit anxious before just because it's just like a lot of pressure. Like I'm like, oh, I gotta pull this one off. I gotta like hit the ball out of the park with this one. But honestly, I don't think it's that crazy of a feeling. Like I'm just like, I know my lines, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm ready. If I'm maybe not prepared, which like doesn't happen, which I'm glad, then it's more like, okay, what am I doing? Like I have no prep for this, but I tend not to go into scenes like that because that stresses me out.
No, I like that. That makes sense for a headspace too. And I'm wondering, another scene I was really impressed by your acting was the scene everyone really excited about. You had mentioned throwing the rope down to Boyd, but you're reacting to so many things that aren't actually there. So like, what are you seeing? Like when she's shouting and seeing that vision of everyone getting like tortured, what are you actually looking at?
Well, I think that's just what she's seeing. Like she's looking from person, like seeing yourself chained to a wall there, screaming, and you're like, this isn't real. This isn't real, but it's the sign. I believe that would be the screaming that she's been hearing in her head that she's been talking about this whole season. But now she's in the source of it, and it's loud. It's like eardrum breaking screaming in her head, and then it's just gone. And
No, but
then
I'm asking though, on set, what are you seeing? Like when
oh,
that's
a blank
happening.
wall. A camera crew, a sound guy. Like I'm not seeing anything.
There's no one dressed up as Julie that you can reference.
No.
Oh, that's impressive. No, that's really cool. No, but you're right. And that's a great answer to explaining everything going on in that scene. I really loved it. And I'm excited for what's to come. So my last question for you, because people are gonna ask this, but like, have you seen any of the script for season four that do you know if they're working on, or are you still
I
like
have
us
no
now?
clue. I know that we really want to do a season four, so I hope that there's a season four, but I have not seen any scripts or haven't heard anything yet.
Oh, okay. No, cool. And yeah, there's definitely be season four. We're pumped for it. Hannah, thank you so much for joining me today. And everyone keep watching From. Tell your friends about it. Watch that finale and over and over. You'll catch more things. And thank you so much. And I hope to talk to you in the future one day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.